We often get the question, what is it like to work with Wayfind Marketing and what can I expect in terms of what you and your team are going to do for me? Hey, I'm Steve Phipps and I'm going to walk through our three phases of work and talk a little bit about how we work with our clients. We are a strategy first agency. What I mean by that is we feel that strategy is the starting point, whether that's at a macro level where we're working on a 12 to 15 month comprehensive marketing strategy, or we're drilling in, maybe doing something that's campaign specific, or focusing on one aspect of strategy, such as messaging. But that is the foundation for everything that we do. So the first phase of our work is strategy. And we break that into two big buckets. Number one is messaging. So the words that are being used to communicate what you do and why it matters, and tactics. And those are the things that can be done to reach your audience, bring traffic, convert leads, and ultimately help you win more customers. In that first phase of strategy, again, depending on the scenario, we have some clients we focus in specifically on the messaging and we don't delve into a lot of the tactics. Typically, that type of arrangement is when we're doing a website, but that particular company doesn't need ongoing marketing support. When we go into a deeper level strategy, we will then oftentimes do client interviews. We talk to your customers. We ask them questions about why they do business with you. Why does what you do matter to them more than your competitors? Why do they choose you compared to your competitors? We also spend a lot of time getting to know you, asking you questions so that we can clearly understand your voice, what differentiates you from your competitors. We want to know what you're good at. What are some of the challenges that you're facing? What are the goals that you have? What have you already done to try reaching those? What are the obstacles and challenges that you're facing? We do an assessment of your website, social media, search engine optimization. We look at a lot of different factors and facets. And then ultimately what we do is we culminate that into specific recommendations for both your messaging, your marketing, the tactics that we think will make sense based on where you are, your budget, your goals, whatever the competitive landscape looks like. Our process is very collaborative. We have a lot of conversations. We want what we come up with, one, to be authentic to your brand, to your company, to your priorities and values. Second, we want it to make sense based on where you are, based on your budget, based on what you have a propensity towards. We put all that together and we go through that with you. Again, it's collaborative, and we identify what those priorities are going to be moving forward. We'll look forward over the next 12 to 15 months in particular. Now, our second phase is where we get into a building phase. Typically, what's happening here is we will build out a new website. So design and development, content writing, optimizing it for the search engines. That also typically will entail building out some sort of a marketing and sales asset, some sort of a downloadable resource, a buyer's guide, something that can be used both on the website to generate leads, as well as something that you can use in the sales process. It becomes a resource that you can use to help move buyers through the buyer's journey faster. We're also doing additional search engine optimization work, off-site work. Again, we want to make sure that everything is up to speed so that your website are in the best place to start moving forward and bringing in traffic and leads to your site. Now, the third phase of work, so phase one is strategy, phase two is building out, typically website, and then phase three is where we go one of two different directions, depending on what makes sense for your company. Number one, we do the marketing for you. If you've worked with an agency before, it's that type of model. Now, the second way that we can work with you is if you are wanting to build and keep your marketing efforts and activities in-house, we can coach your team on how to implement a marketing framework that will drive traffic to your website and ultimately help you convert more leads. So let me talk about the agency model first. Typically, that involves us creating a lot of content for you, blogging, social media, email marketing, managing paid advertising when that makes sense. We report monthly what's happening. We meet with you depending on the cadence. We meet with some clients weekly. We have other clients where we check in with them monthly, keep them posted on what's happening. We adjust the strategy and the tactics as needed based on the results that we're seeing. Now, the second direction that we go in is coaching. And this is something that is unfamiliar to a lot of folks. This is not the typical model, but it makes a heck of a lot of sense if you are wanting to keep control of your marketing activities, your content creation. You don't want to be dependent on an agency. What we do is we'll take about 18 months and we will coach you through training a content manager, working with your leadership, working with your sales, so everybody is in sync. We want to make sure that everybody that needs to be at the table is there so that content can be created that's going to drive traffic, that's going to convert more leads, and create content and resources that your sales team can use from the get-go to speed up the sales cycle, qualify buyers faster, and ultimately generate more results. High level view. Now, let me give you an idea of what pricing looks like. Typically, the strategy phase, if we do messaging only, that's going to be starting at $3,000 and going up from there. If you do the full-blown strategy where we're creating the personas and we're interviewing your clients and doing a 12 to 15 month marketing calendar, that's generally going to start around $10,000. There's a couple of different options there. The website, so phase 2. So building out a website, design, development, writing the content, photography, optimizing for the search engines. That is typically going to start at about $20,000 and then go up from there. Phase 3, for the agency, we typically will start that at around $4,000 a month, and it goes up from there. On the coaching side, that will start around $3,000 and go up to about $8,000 or $9,000 per month, depending on the scope of the coaching. We can coach 1 or 2 individuals on your team, or we can work with you and coach your sales team, your full marketing team, some of your executive leadership team as a part of that process. And that gets a lot more involved. That's the overview. If you have questions, please reach out to me, reach out through the website. You can reach me on LinkedIn. If you have my contact information, feel free to reach out. We can have a conversation and I can explain more about what that process looks like.